Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to Guitar Daily. So today I thought I'd talk about triads and spread triads in particular. Done a few videos lately on triads. If you have a look at some of my shorts, various different things I've done. So a regular triad, say we're in the key of E, might be E, G sharp and B for a major triad. That's all it needs. 3 notes. Simple, right? Of course we can have inversions where we go G sharp, B and E, or invert it again. We'd have root position, meaning root note on the bottom, first position, second position, second inversion I should say, first inversion, second inversion. Right, and I showed how to cover those across the neck. Today I thought I'd talk about spreading those out and getting spread inversions. Now these sound really cool and they work well on guitar. So that's what we're going to do today. So if I take that same thing, I could have this. So if E, B, G sharp. Ordinarily, it would, if in order, would be E, G sharp, but we've skipped the G sharp and jumped it up an octave, and we get this. Right? Sounds great. And it's all the information that we actually need to be able to say that that's an E major chord. If we want to make it a minor, just take the G sharp and make it a G. Right? And let's invert that. So that's the first inversion. That's the root inversion, I should say. Let's find the first inversion. So E moves up to the nearest note, which would be G sharp, right? The E note, the B note, next note, moves up to E, so we have, and then moves up to B. Right, so we could play it like that. I prefer to play it like this. It's just easier and a little more comfortable on guitar. All right, but you could go. It's equally the same sound, same chord. And the next one, G sharp would move up to B, E would move up to G sharp, and B would move up to E. Right? But again, equally so, I find that harder to kind of do fingering wise, so I much prefer. Right? So we have. And you guessed it, there's up the octave. So that's a set of inversions of the spread triads, right? We can do the same thing, but turn them to minor, right? Like I mentioned, take the G sharp, make it a G, right? And then instead of, or, becomes, it's kind of cool with the minor third on the bottom. It's not an overly successful chord in terms of really truly realizing that sound, because having the minor third that low gets mushy, but don't worry too much about that. I'm just going through them for the moment. And the next one would be, or we'd go. Now that instance, that's kind of a stretch. So I'd move the G onto the next string and you get. So for the major, I prefer this, but the minor, I prefer this. Putting that note there, right? And then, so we have. Right, and of course we can get inversions on other strings. So let's go back to our major. Right? E, B, G sharp, E, B, G sharp. Same chord. Of course we can move it to the next set of strings. Same set of notes, but they all sound different, right? And they'll have different uses. Of course we can have inversions, so in the same way we'd move them up. Right? Where these can become useful is once you start putting them into tunes. So for example, say I had a chord progression that went E major to A major, right? And then I might go for my A major. Well, there's kind of no connection between those, but beautiful, right? Now things connect, right? And if I wanted to go, say, from A major back to E major, I could go. Or I could go. I'm going to put my pick down. And then go to the E major. To B. So The ones that really are the most crucial to look at are major and minor, of course, right? But of course, augmented. 1 sharp 5 3, right? Flat 5. Now this sounds kind of funky down low, but don't matter. Sus 4. Sus 2. Right? And diminished probably. Now they sound funky down low, but let's jump them up an octave. Major, minor. Those are the two core ones, right? But then augmented. Flat 5. Diminished. Sus 4. Sus 2. Right, and do that with all your inversions, and you'll have a good time with triads, because triads are awesome. To me, what I like about them is there's a real purity about them. And the thing is, like, the more you learn about guitar, you want to get into complexity of things, right? And I think sometimes people forget that just sometimes a chord just needs to be a straight triad. Because if that sounds good, it is good. That's all it needs. It doesn't need to be this complex sharp 11 chord, or as my friend Roger Fox would always say, an 1170 chord. I always thought it was funny, 1170 or 1170 or whatever he used to say. Yeah, so kind of a funny one. But triads are sometimes best, but also remember that a 7th chord is just a triad with a different bass note. A 9th chord is a triad with 2 notes below it. Right? So you can see how far you could take this if you really spend time with triads. If you want to check out a book that's really fantastic and has a lot of information about triads, go and check out Ted Green's Chord Chemistry. There's a lot of good info in there. Thanks for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye.